Hello everyone, welcome to my NFC reactions in free agency. Now, I know I wasn't very energetic in my last video, which I will try to do that better this time. Also, I did not mention my intro, which we will have right now. Let's get her started. So first off, with the NFC East, we have the Dallas Cowboys, and are you serious, my brother? I mean, Rico Dowdle, nice, he's a good number 3. Or is he number 2? He might be number 2. They got an offensive tackle they re-signed, and literally their only signing was Eric Kendricks. 32-year-old Eric Kendricks to try and replace 29-year-old Leighton Vander Esch. Are you serious? I mean, Dallas had a really good team last time, but that's it. What can I say? They're just going to get bounced in the wild card of the divisional round. It's probably going to be to the Packers again. The Dallas Cowboys, I mean, come on. This has got to be at least an F. Maybe even an F minus. This is terrible. I mean, yes, they're in salary cap hell, but you guys gotta make some moves. Alright, up next we got the New York Giants. So first off, they got another quarterback in Drew Lock, which honestly, I really like this signing. I think he deserves another shot. Because, come on, his Denver situation was ass. He was not good in Denver, but what quarterback has succeeded in Denver besides Peyton Manning? Like, from like 2010 to 2015. Then they got a running back in Devin Singletary. This guy is the consistency king. He will get you 800 yards, 6 touchdowns every year. They got a receiver in Miles Boykin, another receiver in Isaiah McKenzie, which is a good number 3. He's he's a pretty speedy, quick guy. He makes cuts really well, and he's decently fast. He's not an over the middle type guy. They still need that big guy in the middle, like a good tight end. Which, come on, Darren Waller's not gonna do anything. He hasn't done anything since 2020. Why would he do something 5 years later? Then they got a tackle in Jermaine Illuminor, 2-year, 14 mil deal. I mean, that's a cheap backup tackle. Matt Nelson, John Runyon. That could be pretty good. He is a pretty good guard. He's pretty good. I like him as a guard starter. Then they got Aaron Stinney, whoever that is, Austin Slotman, and then here's their big move, Brian Burns. They acquired him in a trade with the Panthers along with a 2024 fifth round pick in exchange for a 2024 second and fifth. Which, I mean, okay, that's honestly, that is a W for the Giants, but I'm just a little afraid that they're not going to do anything with him. So I feel like this is just a little bit of a waste of a career for him. Um, yeah, he is a really, really good player, but I just don't know if the Giants are going to do anything with him. Like, they might make the playoffs a couple times, but they're not going to do anything in the playoffs. Then they got Isaiah Simmons back, which that is good. He is a really good, like second string, linebacker behind, um, Bobby Okereke. Bobby Okereke is honestly one of the best linebackers in the league. I hate to say it, but That guy is annoying to play against. He is everywhere. Then they got a DB in Darnay Holmes and Jalen Mills, which, okay, he's probably going to be like a nickel or a dime. The Giants, I love these moves, but I really don't know what they lost. I'm still going to give them a B, mainly because your QB situation is absolutely destroyed. Daniel Jones is trash. The Philadelphia Eagles have a very interesting uh the Philadelphia Eagles have a very interesting free agency session. Why do I say that? It is because they got two QBs, which, yeah, he's just a good third string. Kenny Pickett, he is a very good backup QB, and he needs to be developed. I mean, out of college, this guy was referred to as the most ready to play person, but no, he was not ready to play. He's just got to get another chance. He needs to learn. This is what he needs to do. Then they got Saquon Barkley, 3 years, $37 million contract, which this is probably the best situation for Saquon Barkley. This is a very good situation for him. He gets 25.5 million guaranteed. 25 million guaranteed. He just wanted a good deal, and that is a really good deal for him. I'll talk about at the end why. Never mind. Alright, then we got a wide receiver in Paris Campbell and Devontae Parker, which Devontae Parker is just getting a little older. He is a decent number 3, but yeah. Paris Campbell is a good number 3 too. They have two good number 3 receivers to work with beside AJ and Smitty. Then they got Albert O, which this guy is really fast as a tight end. Then they got Landon Dickerson back, which is a very big deal. Like I said before, guards got paid this year. And they got Matt Hennessy. They got Brandon Graham back. How many 1-year deals has this guy signed? He has signed at least like a 1-year deal for the past 5 years. It is ridiculous. And then Bryce Huff, which 3-year, $51 million. I had no idea who this guy was. Literally no idea. I think that is a very big overpay. Zach Bond, Oren Burks, Julian Okora, Devin White. Honestly, I forgot this guy was even alive. Tyler Hall, Avonte Maddox. I mean, he's a good nickel. CJ is back. Eagles fans are eating their words because they thought he was a dirty player because he left them for Detroit, which they're Eagles fans. They're idiots. Jake Elliott, Braden Mann, and Rick Lovato. Yeah, honestly, I'd give the Eagles an A. They got what they needed. Simple as that. But my thing is, how do the Eagles keep pulling money out of their ass? What is this? How do they get all these players? I mean, what is this? How do they keep signing so many big deals? Like, what is this? I mean, come on now. I don't know what to say except, wow. The Commanders got Jeff Driscoll as a good backup, Marcus Mariota. I actually still like Marcus Mariota. He was a decent QB for the Titans. He was decent for the Falcons. And I think he could teach a young guy a decent amount of things, especially with the skill set of like a running slash passing QB. A dual threat QB can learn a lot from Marcus because he is, what is he, like 30 now? So he's got experience. And they got Austin Eckler, Mr. Stone Shoes, and they got Jamison Crowder back, which is interesting. I still remember when he caught that crazy pass from Josh Allen in 2022 in that game of the Bills versus the Rams, which was like his only catch with the Bills. And they got Olamide Zaccheaus, Zach Ertz. Honestly, I thought he retired. Honestly, I think it would be better for him to retire. Then they got Cornelius Lucas, Nick Algretti, Tyler Biadasz. That's a good deal for him. And yeah, he's a good center. Good backup center here. They got Dorrance Armstrong from the Cowboys. 45 mil, which that's a lot. Cleveland Farrell, Dante Fowler, Ife Obata, Frankie Louvu, Bobby Wagner for 8.5 mil. That is ridiculous. Yeah. Michael Walker, Michael Davis, James Pierre, Jeremy Chin, Brandon McManus, and Tyler Ott. Is this the frickin' retirement club or what the heck is this? Like, I bet over half of these guys are over 30. At least. Because these are all names of like really good players 5 years ago. 5 years ago, this would be like an insane team. But these guys are just so old. Alright. The Commanders, I would give a B. Moving on to the Chicago Bears. They got a backup QB in Brett Rippon, which, I mean, he is so trash. I watched him start a game for the Rams, and I honestly would have rather watched paint dry. This guy sucks. Then they got DeAndre Swift, he is a really good running back, but I'm not sure how much he has left because I feel like the Eagles ran the absolute tar out of him. They got Keenan Allen in a trade, which is a very good receiver, but you guys got to think about the future for a receiver. Because Keenan is 32? He's 31 or 32, which, yeah, you guys got to draft a good receiver. Then they got Dante Pettis, which, okay, he's a good number 3 or backup receiver. And they got Ryan Bates, acquired in a trade with the Bills. Interesting. 5th round pick. He's probably going to start this year. Jake Curhan, Matt Pryor, Coleman Shelton. Of course, I love Coleman Shelton. It sucks that he left, but I understand why the Rams let him go. Because we got Steve Avila at center right now, which I really love that. And they got Gerald Everett, which is a good tight end to work beside Cole Kmet. So if either of these two get hurt, they don't have to worry about anything. Jake Barton, Amen. I'm not even going to try. Jalen Johnson, which that is a lot of money for him. But that's fine. The Bears fans love it, so gotta do what you gotta do. And they got Kevin Byard, signed a 2-year deal. My only concern with him is he is getting a little older. Then they got Jonathan Owens, which is actually a very good deal. I think he is actually really good. And they got Patrick Skills. Overall, I give the Bears a grade of B+. Like, this is really good. I mean, they didn't get um their main concern, which is QB, but they're gonna get Caleb Williams, and they got him a good weapon, but it's just Keenan Allen's just getting older. He will definitely help him this year, though. Keenan will develop Caleb Williams very well. Now the Detroit Lions. Alrighty. They got Nate Sudfeld, which is a good backup QB, to replace Teddy Bridgewater, who retired. They got Donovan Peoples-Jones back, which is, I mean, okay. He doesn't do a crazy lot because he's like a number 4 receiver there, but honestly, I could see him doing a lot this year because he is pretty much going to replace Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds is Josh Reynolds did a lot for them last year, and I could see him doing a lot for them. I could see him and Jared creating a connection, and him and Amon-Ra St. Brown would be a great 1-2 punch. And then they got Graham Glasgow back. They got Kevin Zeitler, the artifact himself, Kevin Zeitler. This guy is 36 years old and is still balling out. Graham Glasgow, of course, I've already said him, but I just want to mention him again. 3-year deal worth 20 mil. That's honestly pretty cheap for him. He is a very good guard. Him and Jonah Jackson are pretty much the same person. Then they got the tallest player in the league back, which is Dan Skipper. He is a very good extra offensive lineman. And then they got Marcus Davenport. Honestly, I'm going to be surprised if he plays more than 3 snaps. And then they got DJ Reader. I've talked about him before. He suffered a quad tear in his last game with the Bengals. Of course, he is a very good player, but he's 30 years old, and that quad tear could possibly hinder his play a lot because it takes a long time to actually heal from that, and just his age, he might only have 2 good years left. And this year is really just going to be a recovery year for that. He is never going to be the Bengals' DJ Reader again. He's not going to be very good. And they got Jalen Reeves-Maybin back, which is a good special teamer. Carlton Davis, which this is huge. He is very good. He was easily their number 1 CB last year, and this is literally, like, he is so much better than Cam Sutton. I hate to say it, but he's so much better than Cam Sutton. And he's also only 28, so he has at least 3 good years left. And just for a 3rd round pick, that's really good price for him. They got Emmanuel Mosley back, which he is a good dime or nickel. Amik Robertson, good dime or nickel. Kindle Vildor, yeah, he's a good dime or nickel as well. They really attacked their CB position, which I really love, because that's what they were missing. However, I do not see any safeties to replace CJGJ, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And they also got a kicker in Michael Badgley and Scott Daly. Michael Badgley is a little bit unreliable and he doesn't have crazy range. That's my only complaint with him. Overall, the Detroit Lions, I would give them a B+. Mainly because they do not address the safety position. Who's going to fill Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's shoes? I know they're going to say Kirby Joseph, but Kirby Joseph, he's one person. 2 safeties are required. They're going to need another good safety. Hopefully they'll find one in the draft. Moving on to the Packers. The Green Bay Packers got A.J. Dillon back, which is a good number 2 behind Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, of course, which, if you've heard a Packer fan, they don't shut up about him. I mean, did you not see how little he did last year? He was terrible last year. Terrible. Behind the exact same offensive line that he rushed for 1,900 yards behind. He's not going to do very good. They are going to miss Aaron Jones. And Aaron Jones is going to shred them twice this year. I guarantee it. Then they got Tyler Davis, Eric Wilson, Corey Ballantyne, which Corey Ballantyne is actually a really good CB. A good young CB. Then they got another CB slash returner in Keyshawn Nixon, which Keyshawn Nixon is a very good return man. He's a decent CB too, but he can't be doing too much cornerback stuff because he's got to be at 100% for returns. They got Xavier McKinney, which is a very big deal, literally and metaphorically, or financially, I should say, which is even 4-year deal. He is going to be very good for them. This is the kind of safety the Detroit Lions need. Then they also got Greg Joseph, which, okay, he is literally Greg Zuerlein. He's going to kick a crazy 57-yarder, and then the next 30-yarder you put him up to, he's going to miss it wide left. I give the Packers probably a B. I mean, you gave Josh Jacobs too much. He's not very good. They did get a really good safety. I did not see any offensive linemen here, though. They really need a couple offensive linemen to replace David Bakhtiari and a couple others that they lost, like John Runyon. I know that they lost John Runyon. They need someone to replace him. But this is overall very short and sweet. That's why I'm giving this a B. They didn't need to do a crazy lot, and they didn't do a crazy lot, but I would have liked to see a lot more on the offensive line. The Minnesota Vikings got a quarterback in Sam Darnold. I don't know if he's going to start this year. I don't know about their quarterback situation at all. I'm just really going to see how this plays out. So I am not going to rate them because I have no idea about their quarterback situation. So that's why I'm not going to rate them. They got a running back in Aaron Jones. Of course, that is a very cheap deal for him. He is going to shred the Packers. And I hope he does too. I love Aaron Jones. It is sad to see that he's getting a little older, though. They got Brandon Powell, which he was actually really good for the Rams in 2022. He was good. I loved him being on the Rams. Then they got Trent Sherfield, which is a decent slot receiver. They got Johnny Munt back, which he's a good backup tight end. I honestly had no idea that he was on the Rams until an announcer said it in that crazy Colts game. And they got David Questenberry, Dan Feeney, Jonathan Gennard, which that is a significant signing. Jonathan Gennard was actually 10th in sacks. He was really good. He was ahead of Will Anderson, which I don't think anyone knew that, except for like people that paid attention to stats. This guy is going to be a problem. And they got Andrew Van Ginkel, which, I mean, he is very good. It's just the fact that he doesn't get crazy stats, but his presence is definitely felt. Him and Grenard are going to cause problems. But I don't think they really replaced Danielle Hunter. Danielle Hunter is a different animal. And they got another edge player in Jihad Ward because Andrew has foot problems, and Grenard had something to do with, I believe, his hamstring last year. And they got a DT in Jerry Tillery, which, yeah, he's a really good DT. Jonathan Bernard, Jonah Williams, which, yeah. These are some very good defensive linemen here. Their defense is going to be scary, especially with Raheem Morris. Do they still have him? I think they do. And they got a good linebacking duo in Blake Cashman and Camus Grugier-Hill. They got a great CB in Shaquille Griffin. And they got a good kicker in John Parker Romo. Actually, I don't know if he's good. I have no idea who this guy is. Alright. The NFC South, starting with the Atlanta Falcons. They got QB Kirk Cousins, which 4-year, $180 million deal. That is ridiculous, I believe. I mean, I thought the Vikings paid too much for him. This is just ridiculous. I mean, I love Kirk Cousins. I believe he is definitely a top 10 QB. And up next, they got wide receiver Ray McLeod, which is a very good return man. Kadero Hodge, Darnell Mooney, Rondale Moore. I mean, these are Arthur Smith players. These are players that Arthur Smith would bring up crazy plays for. Then they got Charlie Werner, Storm Norton, Eddie Goldman. Charlie Werner's a good backup tight end. Storm Norton, I have never heard of him. Eddie Goldman, never heard of him. Came out of retirement? Interesting. And they got Kentavious Street, Antonio Hamilton, and Liam McCulloch. I've already recorded a TikTok for the Carolina Panthers, so I'm just going to put that right here. Hello everyone, and welcome to my reactions to the Carolina Panthers free agency, as requested, right there. Anyway, first off, we have wide receiver Deontay Johnson, which was acquired in a trade with the Steelers. My opinion of Deontay Johnson is he's a decent receiver, but he's not, like, amazing. He's not a true number one. He's a really good number two, though. Deontay Johnson reminds me a lot of Jalen Waddle. I don't know why, but it just seems like some games he does so much, in some games he just doesn't do anything. And then we got David Moore, which is a decent wide receiver, good depth guy. He was on the Bucks, I'm fairly sure, which he did okay on the Bucks for like a number 4 or 5. He really stepped up when, I believe it was Godwin got hurt. Josh Neisman, 2-year, $8 million deal. If I remember right, he's just kind of there. He's not a guaranteed starter, but he could compete for the starting job, which I'm not sure what their other linemen are. Well, they got Robert Hunt, which that is very good. I really liked Robert Hunt. This was the guy that went flipping into the end zone after he caught that crazy pass from Tua. That was this lineman. That was hilarious. I watched that live. It was against the Ravens. That was hilarious. And they got Damian Lewis. Wow. That is a big deal. Oh my gosh, that is a huge deal for Robert Hunt too, but he deserves it. I mean, this guy is freaky athletic. He reminds me a lot of Kevin Dotson, which I love Kevin Dotson. Yeah, that's a really good deal. Guards got paid this offseason. And they got a few edge players. I don't know who this guy is, but Jadeveon Clowney, he is, I mean, as his name suggests, he is a little bit of a clown, but overall, he is not crazy bad. He definitely did not deserve to be the number one overall pick, but still, he was really good for the Ravens last year. The Ravens, they got their money's worth off of him. Then they got DJ Wanham. I believe he was pretty good last year. I don't remember what team he was on, but he was good. Derek Brown, they re-signed him, which that's big because he was easily their best defensive lineman for the past like 3-4 years. Then they got Ashawn Robinson, which yeah, okay. I I I really like Ashawn Robinson. Hot take, the Rams would not have won the Super Bowl if it was not for this guy. This guy had like 2 sacks and like 3 tackles for a loss in that game. He was a wrecking ball beside Aaron Donald. Josie Jewell, he is a very good linebacker. I really like him as a linebacker. Him and Shaq Thompson will be like one of the best duos in the league. Of course, it's not going to be the best duo in the league because Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw, I believe, are still in the same team. Troy Hill, I mean, that's a good signing, but he's a little older because he was on the Rams. I know him from the Rams. He was really good that 1 year in the Rams. Or said say he was decent until he got hurt. He's like 31, 32. Dane Jackson. I actually like this guy. I think he was probably one of the best CBs on the Bills because Taron Johnson was playing his ass off. Dane Jackson was absolutely playing his ass off for not even starting at the beginning of the year. He deserves this deal. Honestly, I think he deserves better. He reminds me a lot of Akello Witherspoon. Then we got another safety in Sam Franklin. I think he's just a practice squad guy or something. Jordan Fuller, that's good for them. He is a pretty good coverage safety. Nick Scott, what is this? Just a recreation of the 2021 Rams, or what is this? But Nick Scott was very good in the Super Bowl run. This guy hits hard. This is the guy that absolutely annihilated Deebo Samuel. And they got a long snapper in J.J. Jansen. So overall, the Carolina Panthers, I would give them, I'll give them an A minus. This is actually really good. This is way better than I expected from them. Because they got a good receiver. They got, or a good number 2 receiver. They do still need a true number 1, but they can fix that in the draft with their second round pick because if I heard right, there's a lot of good receivers in this draft. They really buffed their offensive line, which that's really what they needed. They got to give Bryce Young time, which looks like they did that with their guards. I don't know how their tackle position's going to do, though. That's a concern for me, and of course the wide receiver position is a concern for me. But they really buffed their defense as well. I love the Jadeveon Clowney signing. I love the Ashawn Robinson signing. I love that they kept Derek Brown. I love the Josie Jewell signing. And all these secondary players are good, except Troy Hill's getting a little older. So yeah, this is A minus, respectively. And skip past them. The New Orleans Saints. They got a QB in Nathan Peterman, a wide receiver in Cedric Wilson. They got a fullback in Adam Prentice, which, yeah, what can I say except Nathan Peterman? He's the GOAT. Easily the absolute GOAT. I could understand completely why the Bills benched Tyrod Taylor for Nathan Peterman in the middle of a playoff run. I mean, he completed 4 passes to the other team. And Chase Young, He's just a lazy pile of bones. He's not good. Demario Davis, 2-year deal, which, yeah, it was just an extension. Which Demario Davis is a very good linebacker. And they also got Willie Gay, which is also a very good linebacker, which the Saints are always going to have like a weird team. The games you expect them to lose, they're going to blow them out by 10 points. And the games you expect them to win, they're going to get absolutely annihilated. If you're a sports bettor, do not bet on the Saints. They are so unpredictable. They got another linebacker, a safety in Jonathan Abram, which he's a very good safety, if I remember right. I don't remember what team he played for, but he was pretty good. And then we got Tyrann Mathieu, which was a extension, but still, safeties have been so cheap to go by recently. 13.75 mil. I mean, this is ridiculous. He is literally the honey badger. Why is he only getting paid that much? This is ridiculous. I would give the New Orleans Saints probably a B minus. I hate going into the B so much, but it's just the right rating for them. They got Tyrann Mathieu back dirt cheap. They got a good safety in Jonathan Abram. They got a really good linebacking duo. They got a bum in Chase Young. They got a backup QB. They got a receiver. Like, okay. Not anything crazy, not anything boring. At least they're not the Cowboys, am I right? Alright, the Buccaneers, they got Baker Mayfield back, which is huge. If you don't know this about me, Baker Mayfield is my favorite player in the NFL. Easily my favorite player. It's not I mean, yes, he was a Ram, but I loved him even before he went to the Rams. So when he made that crazy play at the end of the Raiders Rams game last year, actually it was 2 years ago now, but yeah, let's just say I might have went a little insane. And they got John Wolford, which he sucks. John Wolford sucks. Why are they just trying to make up the Rams' backup QB role here? He is so bad. I'd rather watch paint dry than watch John Wolford. They got Chase Edmonds, which honestly I forget he's even alive. He's literally just a mid running back. That's all he is. They got Mike Evans back, which is huge. Baker and Mike get along very well, which I love. They got a couple linemen here. Suo Peta, Randy Gregory. Interesting. Which Randy Gregory could actually be pretty good for them. I could see him fitting in very well. And they got Greg Gaines, which I think this guy is a stud. Mainly just because he was a Ram, but this guy is a stud. And Levante David. He is a very good linebacker, but he is getting a little older. He's kind of in like the Bobby Wagner Rams part of his career. They got Bryce Hall, Tavierre Thomas, Jordan Whitehead, which that could be actually pretty good. Jordan Whitehead is a very good safety. They got Antoine back, even though it was the franchise tag. I wish they would keep him for longer because he is a very good safety. They got Chase McLaughlin, She's a good kicker, and they got a long snapper. Overall, I give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers an A. I mean, they kept who they needed to. They I'm giving them an A just because they kept who they needed to. They did really good. And they also got a couple extra players in Randy Gregory and Jordan Whitehead. Just to patch some holes that they didn't last year. This is definitely going to be a competitive team with the Falcons for the division. I still think the Falcons take the division, though. Let me know if you guys want a ranking, my power rankings before the season. The NFC West. Starting off with the Arizona Cardinals. They got a QB in Desmond Ridder, which, I mean, okay. He sucks. He's not going to do anything. I hope Kyler stays healthy so I don't have to see this bum on the field again. I actually support Kyler Murray. I don't think he's bad. He's just been in absolute trash situations, which he still is. Then they got DJ Dallas. He's a decent running back. Chris Moore, Keith Ismail, Jonah Williams is a good offensive tackle. Yeah, they really buffed their offensive line here. Well, kind of. Tristan Colon, he must be pretty shit, isn't he? Then they got Elijah Wilkinson. I mean, okay. Evan Brown. Justin Jones, which he's a really good defensive tackle, obviously because they paid $30 million. Bilal Nichols. Chris Tonga. Chris Barnes. Mac Wilson. Sean Murphy Bunting. Honestly, I have not heard this guy's name ever since he got torched by Deshaun Jackson in 2021. I got a long snapper and Blake Gillikin. I would give the Cardinals probably just a B. They really didn't buff anything, neither did they, they really didn't buff anything. I mean, they buffed a little bit of their defense, their defensive line, but yeah. This is just okay. Alrighty. It is time for my favorite part of the video, the part I have been waiting for. The Los Angeles Rams. Oh yeah. So they got Jimmy G, which is a very good contract and a very good backup QB because I have a bad feeling that Matt Stafford is going to get hurt again and miss at least 2 games. Which Jimmy will fill the role very nicely, as long as it's not in the first 2 weeks because he is still suspended. But Matt shouldn't get hurt in the first 2 weeks. If he does, I don't know what I'll do. Then we got wide receiver Demarcus Robinson, which he played a huge role at the end of the year last year. We would not have gotten into the playoffs if it wasn't for him. He had like an OBJ type, helping with the Rams at the end of the year. OBJ was very good at the end of the year in 2021. And we got Colby Parkinson, which is a very good backup tight end to Tyler Higbee. And he's also a big ounce. I heard this guy's like 6'7", if I remember right. He is a very good blocker. And Colby is going to probably play a lot because I have no idea in Tyler Higbee's status. and Tyler Higbee is also going to be like 31. So he's going to start slowing down. This guy, I believe, is only like 26, 25, 26. So he's pretty young yet. And we got Kevin Dotson, which is probably one of my favorite players in the NFL right now. I love Kevin Dotson as a player. And 3-year deal, 48 mil. Oh, I am happy. Jonah Jackson, which, oh, our guards are so good. My only concern is moving Steve Avila to center. That is my only concern, but Steve Avila was very good last year, and he'll do fine. He'll do his job. He'll get it done. I believe in him. Then the Rams got Laurel Murchison, which is a decent backup defensive tackle to Kobe Turner, which he was a rookie last year, so he's obviously not on this list. Then they got Christian Rosenbaum, which this guy sucks at tackling. Like, he's decent in pass coverage and decent in, like, communication, but this guy cannot tackle. He cannot tackle. Like, players just bounce right off of him. Doesn't matter how big they are. He has been, like, ran through for first down so many times. I honestly wish we could have got Bobby Wagner back. But we still got Ernest Jones, so hopefully he can whip him into shape. Like, you gotta tackle, buddy. Then my favorite signing, Tre'Davious White. Actually, my second favorite behind Kevin Dotson and Jonah. Third favorite behind Kevin Dotson and Jonah Jackson. Because those two signings, I will literally piss White over. Tre'Davious White, which is 1-year deal, 10 mil. That's a really good price for him. And then we got Darius Williams back on a 3-year deal, which I would have liked if it was like a 1-year deal, because Darius Williams was not very good. He was a decent CB2, but he got burned a lot. I would have liked to get a different CB back. I would have liked to get Akello Witherspoon back. I will take Akello Witherspoon over Darius Williams any day. And they also got a hard-hitting safety in Cameron Curl. This guy is literally just a better Nick Scott. He hits hard. He's going to get a couple penalties this year just because of how hard this guy hits. But we're really relying on Trey White and Darius Williams to hold up in the cornerback position for Cameron Curl to come down in the box and help with the run. That is what they're trying to do, which I'm perfectly fine with. I would give the Rams, this is exactly what I wanted. Exactly. My only complaint is Darius Williams. He's not very good. Just get Akello Witherspoon back. So I'm going to give him an A, not an A+. Alright, last two left. The San Francisco 49ers. Alright, let's see what we got for them. First up, we have Brandon Allen, which is a decent number 3. Which, of course, he's probably going to play because you know how 49er QBs are. And they got Josh Dobbs, which is a very good backup. He is literally Brock Purdy, too. And Chris Conley, which this guy is really old, but he does his job on special teams. John Feliciano, interesting. Colton McKivitz, 1-year extension. Good for him. And This next name, I'm not even going to say because it will piss me off. I hate that the 49ers got this guy. Oh, because of course the 49ers are rivals to the Rams. Why did you have to go there? You could have went anywhere else. Why there? I mean, it is what it is, but still, come on. Then they got Yetur Gross Matos. 49ers, you better take good care of this guy. This guy is literally going to carry your defense. I don't care if you have Fred Warner, he will carry your defense. He is so good. I'm pissed that you guys got him. Then they got Yetur Gross Matos. Interesting. Melly Collins. A trade with the Texans, which, yeah, he's a really good DT. They really replaced everything on their defensive line. And I thought these guys were going to be worse. Damn it! Frickin' 49ers. Then they got Jordan Elliott, Kevin Givens, Devondre Campbell. Do you guys not have Dre Greenlaw anymore? Because if you guys are getting Devondre Campbell, they don't have Dre Greenlaw. Because if they have Dre Greenlaw, Devondre Campbell, Fred Warner, and Demetrius Flanagan Fowles, that's not fair. You guys are just wasting at least two of these guys' careers. Devondre Campbell is easily a number one linebacker in the league. He's just a little bit worse than Fred Warner, but this guy is so good. I wish the Rams would have gotten this guy. And they got a CB in Isaac Yiadom and a safety slash special teamer in George Odom. I'm surprised that Chris Conley isn't preferred to as a special teamer. He really doesn't play much wide receiver. Anyway, I would give the 49ers, I mean, they gotta get an A+. Like, they buffed their defense, they got their new QB room, they got good special teamers now, and they got some okay offensive linemen for backups. Which, yeah, okay. I still hate you guys. Last but not least is the Seattle Seahawks. They got a good backup QB in Sam Howell, which I have a feeling that Geno's going to get hurt this year. Just because the fact that Geno's like 33 and he's been healthy for 2 years straight. It seems like the third year they're going to get hurt. I just have a bad feeling. And they got a wide receiver in Laviska Shenault from the Panthers? Yeah. Laviska Shenault is a very good, like, Deebo Samuel type guy, but he's not really Deebo Samuel. He's a mini Deebo Samuel, is what I will call him. Then they got a tight end in Farrell Brown. They got Noah Fant back, which that's a lot of money for him just to sit on the bench and do absolutely nothing. Then they got a tackle in George Fant. Are these two related? I don't think they are. We got center Nick Harris, a defensive end, and Leonard Williams again. 3-year deal, $64 million. That's a good price for him and a good spot for Leonard Williams. This guy is really good. Then they got a DT in Jonathan Hankins, a linebacker in Jerome Baker, which, that's good for him. Jerome Baker is a very underrated linebacker. He was really good for the Dolphins. And they got another linebacker in Terrell Dodson, which he was okay for the Bills, but he's just not big enough. He's more like a safety to me. He's a big safety to me, is what he is. And they got a CB in Artie Burns, Kayvon Wallace, and a safety in Rayshon Jenkins. They really buffed their defense, didn't they? Honestly, I would give the Seattle Seahawks B+. Mainly because they got a good receiver for number 3, possibly a number 2, because Lockett's getting older. I hate to say it, but Lockett's getting older. I don't know how long he's going to play. And they got a tight end back. They got a lot of defensive players, which this is very good for the defense. Seattle's defense is going to be very good next year. And they also got a legit backup in Sam Howell. This is very good free agency. And I will send you all to the outro. Thank you everyone for watching. You already know what to do to show support. And let me know what videos you want next. I can do more NFL content. I can do some farming simulator content. I could do more Minecraft content. Just let me know what kind of content you want. Do you want more gaming content? Do you want more like ranking content for NFL? I could do ranking of random things that I know about. Just give me your ideas. I'll see if I can make them come to life. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.